Just me and Bailey the Great in the building today. We're gonna be passing the mic back and forth like Ghostface and Raekwon. You guys already know how it is. What's going on, Bailey?
Man, I'm out here pissing these people off on TikTok about sugar going in grits.
It's crazy to me how upset people get about how another motherfucker wants to eat their food, bro.
Well, the amazing thing is it's been very balanced in the comments. And
Okay.
then there was one person that actually said, yo, it says it's both. You can have it breakfast style or you can have it for dinner. And that was the best explanation I've gotten since. You know what I mean? And I actually because I responded to a video and I said, bro, it's basically said you can add sugar on the back of the box. And my comments went off after that.
Did you see the shit on the timeline yesterday where somebody said something about vegan oxtails?
No.
Bro, I ain't never seen black people attack a black woman so quick. Like all the black Twitter went in on this woman, bro. She's a vegan and she came up with a way to flavor. I think it was tofu. I can't remember. But bro, when I tell you the picture of it, you could not tell that it wasn't real oxtail. If she would have just said, I made a fire plate of oxtails and rice, I guarantee you nobody on the timeline would have said anything. But because she put the word vegan in it, black Twitter went off, bro. It was literally the craziest thing I've ever
I
seen in
gotta
my
see.
life.
I gotta see that video. I gotta see that video.
Shit's crazy, man. Shit was crazy, but it looked fire though. It looked fire.
I'm gonna look it up.
Let's jump into the topics today, man. First of all, I did not realize that Wendy Williams had been on TV for 13 years. Well, her show is ending after the 13th season. They announced that it's going to be ending. Sherry Shepherd's going to have a new show that's going to be taking over that time slot. So I do want to commend the network for still highlighting a black woman in that space. But bro, I don't agree with everything Wendy Williams does. I don't really like her personality, but for a black woman to have a show on TV for 13 years, we got to give it up to her, right?
Yeah, but okay, yes, in that, in it, yeah, okay, I get you on that one. But
Uh-huh.
look, the reason why she was kept on TV that long, and I actually thought it was longer, 13 years. That's
Mm-hmm.
to me, I would have thought it was longer than that. But look, the content that has kept her on there has been messy content.
That's true. That's true.
So, and we already know what sells in America. I ain't gonna say across the world, but in America, the messy gossip stuff sells. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why the Inquirer is still
Yeah,
making money. You know what I mean?
that's a
Because
fact.
it doesn't have to be true. It could just be rumors. It could be a little smoke, or it could be smoke that somebody created. Is going to sell because there's people out there that love that. They love that drama type stuff, and she dressed it up in a special way. She had a persona, and people liked it. She ruffled a lot of people's feathers along the way, but I think that comes with the line of business that she's in.
And one thing that I will say is that yeah, it was mess, it was drama, but there were times that again I never watched the Wendy Williams show consistently, but I absolutely will watch clips. But there were times that she had really good interviews. I remember an interview she had with the Brat, and it was a really good interview, and the Brat opened up a lot, and so yeah, it does suck that it's mess, and I hope that Sherry Shepherd's show is a little bit more geared towards the culture than just the mess and exploiting it. But I mean, hats off to her for having a show on for 13 years on a major network. It wasn't like she was like off on some network that nobody watches for real.
Yeah.
And I mean, hats off to her for being able to keep it. But there are a lot of people who are going to be celebrating her downfall because Wendy Williams never really seemed to be respected in the media industry, right? And that was probably because of her content and the way that she delivered it. But the fact that she stayed on for as long as she did, I wanted to bring it up and talk about it on the show this week.
Which is kind of weird because nowadays you see a lot of people sharing their business, even if they quote unquote got their phones hacked or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they just, I mean, I guess they prefer not to have their business or even something made up about them through somebody else. You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I might not agree with what she does or what she says or anything like that, but you do have to have a certain skill set to capture a lot of people's attention. And for 13 years strong, that's an accolade right there. I mean, I don't have to like it, but it happened.
Yeah, and the fact that she wasn't taken down either by a scandal, right? It really seems like her show just ran its course, which happens with people. But like even somebody who like Ellen, who had her show, because I don't think Ellen comes on anymore. Does the Ellen DeGeneres show still come? I know there was one point where they were trying to get her the hell up out of here.
Right.
But like she was kind of taken down by her controversial views, and her show was on the air for I think it was like 20 years. So you know, hats off to that for somebody who does have the content, like messy content, but it wasn't a controversy that took her down. It was over with.
Well, I mean, outside of, I mean, Charlemagne has his times where he speaks very high of her,
Mhm.
and he obviously has some type of issue with, or has some type of issue with her. But outside of him, besides the artists and entertainers that had an issue with her airing their dirty laundry out or her making something up, I never really heard anything negative, from her coworkers or her staff. And so
That's
that's
true.
where Ellen messed up, because there was some, things behind the scene that we didn't know about that got aired out.
Yep, that's true. That's true. Well, hats off to Wendy Williams and her show and the fact that she had it on air as long as she did. But let's move on for something, bro. First of all, the fact that it's been 30 years since Martin Lawrence was off the air, since Martin was off the air, is wild, bro. Like the fact, and I didn't realize that show was only on TV for 5 years. The Martin show was such a point. Like me, there was me and I got six sisters. Well, two of them weren't born, but that our family, that was one of the appointment televisions. It was before it was DVR. We every time Martin came on, we sat down as a family and we watched it as a family for years. Some of my best family memories of my mom braiding my hair, braiding my sister's hair, playing practical jokes while we were watching Martin. And the fact that it's been drama going on amongst the cast, and they're finally having a 30th anniversary reunion hosted by Affion Crockett. It actually was filmed on February 20th, which was just 3 days ago. So over the course of the weekend, bro, how excited are you for this reunion?
Well, I mean, it's bittersweet because we know we're not gonna have Tommy with us. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we already know that he was a huge driving force behind that show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it'd be dope to see them all together. It's kind of like towards the end of the last couple of seasons, it wasn't the same, and because it was behind the scenes stuff that was
Mm-hmm.
going on. But no, look, my daughter is 6, and of course she wasn't born in that era, but as a child, as a baby, 1-2 years old, the way she was processing the jokes, because she used to stay up late with me, because Martin would come on late, the Wayne brothers, and she would sit up
Mm-hmm.
there and watch those shows with me, and she would laugh on cue. You know what I mean? It was just that it's going to be top, to me. It's going to be top 5 forever. I'm not sure where you want to put it, but it's one of those, how we sit up there and debate about Pac, Big, Nas, and Jay. I think there's just certain names that you just can't move out the way, regardless. You can
Mm-hmm.
shuffle them with inside the Mount Rushmore, the top 5,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's the Martin show is, it's gonna be within that top 5, maybe even the Mount Rushmore. I just don't know where you would place it at.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Well, and maybe that's something, we always tend to do our brackets in March. Maybe that's something that we need to do in March is do classic black TV shows.
That's going to I've done a few of those, and I'm already saying the friendships are going to end, because I'm extremely biased. I'm extremely biased when it comes to a different world.
Mm, okay.
And I have there's a lot of um a living single fans that feels like it should be above a different world, but we're not here to debate that right now.
Yeah, we're not here to do that now because I can feel us going down a path with that. But the Martin thing, and there's already been a photo of them from the recording of it all together. It feels like family still, bro. And like I said, for me, it was such a big part of my childhood growing up that it was appointment television, bro. Like literally, I there was very seldom shows that we all got together as a family, right? There are shows that we like me and my sisters would just watch, like Family Matters and stuff like that. We would just watch together. There were shows I just watched with my dad, shows that my mom and my sisters just watched together. But as far as all of us being in the same room every day watching that, well, every time it came on, Martin was that show. And it makes me want to, like, hearing this makes me want to try to rewatch the show with my children now, especially since they're teenagers, and see if it still hits the way that I think that it would. Because Martin is and I haven't really sat down and like watched several episodes in years, but I catch the odd episode maybe a couple of times a year. And when I tell you, every time I see an episode of Martin, not only do I know most episodes word for word, but I still laugh like it's my first time seeing it.
Absolutely. And then the cool part about it is it's like sometimes you get reminded of the characters that we don't necessarily see every episode. You know what I'm saying? But everybody's going to remember Bruh Man from the Fifth Floor. You know what I mean? Like, so that leads me to ask, what is one of your favorite characters, even one of the characters that Martin played?
Oh man, Shanae for sure. Like, that was just, my sister does such a impression of Shanae, it's ridiculous. Jerome, definitely. What is Roscoe? Is that the name? The snot nose kid?
Yeah.
And then one of the best episodes, the funniest episodes, when it was it him and Pam and they were trapped in that hotel room with that big ass rat?
Oh yeah. That was when they was on the island.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
That episode to this day is like one of the funniest episodes of television. But who was one of your favorite characters from Martin?
It had to be Dragonfly Jones.
Oh yeah.
Silence. And you know what? I love Cole too.
Yeah.
I like
Cole's underrated. He's underrated.
Yeah. But my favorite episode, I know a lot of people. It ain't gonna be no debate with this one. Is when it was the missing. What was it? The missing CD or the missing CD player?
Oh yeah.
The New Jack City episode. Man, when I tell you that dog, because they couldn't hold their laugh in. Tommy couldn't hold his laugh in.
Yeah,
that's how funny that was.
Yeah, and then as far as moments too, the toenail.
Hey, but that was the other one. Because there were, like you said, when y'all used to sit around and watch it, there were certain shows, like at one point when we knew it was about to be a new show, like they had theme shows like the Halloween show. I remember that one. I love that one. Anytime I used to go down, when I used to go down to Nipsey's.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Memories.
The time Martin got his ass beat by we can't say midgets anymore. The dwarfs.
When he got his ass whooped in that ring.
Yeah, for sure. Oh man, we're gonna have to do when everybody's back. Like maybe when the reunion airs, we'll like all talk about some of our favorite episodes. Hopefully we'll have the whole team back by then. But let's get into we got a message. Let's see what we got. My bad, I wasn't checking the messages. We got a message from Smear60. He says Donda 2 had some great moments and some bad moments. The scenery was amazing. Smear60, we haven't made it to Donda. I actually got to change the description. We're actually pushing the Donda review off till next week, brother. So we won't be talking about Donda this week. My bad on updating that, but we are about to get into Big Crit's album. Baylor, we had all talked about why Big Crit isn't ranked higher amongst his peers. And so we kind of all said that it's because Big Crit does not have anything that's a classic album. He has some classic songs, right? Some great all-time great verses, but Big Crit does not have that one classic album. So he dropped this new album, Digital Roses Don't Die. Is this his classic album?
Nah, it's not. And the way we worded it was, I said he doesn't have a Good Kid, Mad City.
Yes. Yeah, that is exactly the phrase you used.
And you know what but I'm here to say this is not completely his fault. Because now if you drop an album, we don't I ain't gonna say the masses don't consume it the same way.
That's true.
You know, because there's so much coming out, and it's almost like you have to work with certain. I mean, but back in the day, they did the same thing where they strategically work with certain producers, and I couldn't even I can't. It sound good. Don't get me wrong. I took a couple of tracks from it,
Mhm.
but nah, this is not it. I probably can point out a couple of other projects that he got that's considered a classic, if anything.
The thing that just like 17 tracks, right? In this day and age, that's a long album.
Yeah.
But a lot of the tracks were short too. Uh what I can say from this, if this felt like Crit wanted to give music to his fans that he hasn't dropped a lot of music for yet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for lately, and it didn't really feel like Crit's albums usually do feel cohesive. Take what away from that what you will. This album this felt more like a mixtape to me.
And here's the thing: I've heard some people complain about the album, saying that doesn't sound like the old Crit, right?
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, we did the same thing with Kanye. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true.
Maybe he wanted to just experiment. I wouldn't even say experiment. Maybe this is the type of shit that he wanted to make all along, or at least some of it. And he's
Mm-hmm.
introducing this other style. I actually like this. I like the style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It has it has
It's
like a
feel good music.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It got like a vintage sound to it too. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else to say, but look, there's hardcore cricket fans that I mean crit fans that's just like, yo, this is not it. This is not, but I'm like, yo, he getting older.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And our number one thing on this show is, yo, the older you get, we need to know what you're gonna be talking about.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not one of those people who I feel like sometimes as a culture we like to paint artists in box and be like, oh, this doesn't sound like your old shit. It shouldn't. Like people grow, they change, their taste should change. So like the style of music that he wanted to give on this album isn't any of my critiques, and it's just like I said, this album doesn't feel like because it's feel good music. I don't know. It's really hard for me to critique this album because I do like the overall vibe of the album. I just felt like the execution of it wasn't what I expected from Crit, if that makes sense.
You got a lot of, when you look at the NBA, you got a lot of superstars, you got a lot of stars, and then you got a lot of role players. It's hard to place where Crit is at because we, as a fan, think he is a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But because he doesn't get superstar attention, it's like he's looked at as a role player or a second or third option.
Mm-hmm.
But he can battle with the best of them though. I believe if you put him in a room with some of the greats, he gonna hold his own.
Oh, bar for bar, absolutely.
That's what I'm. But he's just not getting the recognition you want to know because he not making this bullshit that they making these days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I really think he came out. That's what it is. He probably just came out in the wrong era. He should have. He should have been one of those cats that dropped around in the UGK era.
That's true. I do think if he came in a different era, this is what I'm going to compare this to, and this may get me some backlash. I don't know, but this was Big Crit's Speaker Box Love Below.
So what would be his Aquemini?
Crit is here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But overall, like I said, I like the album for what it is. It didn't quite get to the levels that I wanted it to get to, but sonically and everything, it's all on point. Like I can't critique it too much there.
I could throw this album on and just let it play. But it's not like I'm gonna go. I don't know. It sounds good though. It really it sounds good.
Yeah. I think like Crit needs the thing is let Crit do whatever he wants to do. Me personally, what I want to hear from Crit, I want to hear like this was a fun feel good album, but I want a soulful album from Crit, if that makes sense.
Well, who can help him create that? You already know who I'm gonna go with.
You going with Hit Boy?
Y'all going with him? I think Hit Boy because this is it when it comes to Hit Boy.
Uh-huh.
He taps into like this. It's just he can add some boom bap, but he'll sprinkle some of that 70s type of vibe to it to me. And it's like he just meshes it all together the right way, and then he forms it around his artist, or at least he forces the artist to kind of fix their shit to rap on his beats.
Mm-hmm.
Because it sounds good.
I feel it. I would say, and since you said Apollo Brown, I'm gonna take that one off. I would say Apollo Brown can get a lot out of him.
Okay.
I would like to see him with Apollo Brown, but I'm gonna throw a curveball, bro. Complete curveball.
You going
I would love to see Big Crit, maybe not the whole album. Havoc. Havoc.
You must have listened to that last album, Havoc and Styles P did.
No. Think of some of Havoc's best produced tracks, right? That's why I said I don't think he can do a whole album. But give me a 5 to 7 track album of Havoc producing for Big Crit. I think that would bring out, because Crit would have to be lyrical on it.
Okay, I'll give you Havoc and I'll raise you one. I say Alchemist.
Oh, you just won. You won. That absolutely. Absolutely. Or Premiere?
Or Premiere. Yeah, Premiere. Definitely.
Bro, I think we're burying the lead, and this will never happen. But considering,
nah, man, we better start hitting these cats up on Twitter. Like,
how do you think locked in, right? And not trying to make him do anything, but just locked in samples. How do you think a Kanye West would produce for Big Crit?
All right, so this is the thing. I think obviously Kanye has the ability to do that. The one problem that I have is that is he trying to make the project for Crit, or is he trying to make the project for himself?
That's why I say it would have to be him trying to make it for Crit.
If he could do it for Crit, then I'm cool with it. But outside of that, no, because we see, I didn't get to see much of the interview, but Daytona.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right. So that's it on Digital Roses Don't Lie. Let's move in. And this is the last topic for today, since we're doing a shorter episode. Power. Book 4, I think is what we're on. Force. Tommy, bro.
Yeah, nobody calls it that, but
how you feeling about the show? Because this was the first time, and I know we're 3 episodes in. This episode felt like a bunch of wheels turning. It felt like nothing really happened by the end of the episode.
Right. So shout out to the homegirl Gigi. She asked me, how did I feel about the episodes in general, and I said, look, we're not going to get attached to this. It's going to feel like a bunch of random shit being pieced together, because we don't have anybody in there besides Tommy that we're emotionally attached to. There's nobody. We don't care about anybody else in that series right now except for Tommy. And we don't know the ultimate goal though. With Tyreek, we knew he was trying to get his sister, trying to get back to moms. You know what I mean? Doing his work so he can get out of the game. We get that. With Tommy, is like everything is just starting off fresh and new, and we just know him. We don't know anybody else.
Yeah.
It's starting to come around now with the Chicago Cats and things like that, but there's still nothing to throw against the wall and stick, like nothing yet.
I do like the seeds that were planted behind the Tommy Flanagan's character, which I always forget they're supposed to be Irish, and the black guy, how there's history there. Because I want to know about that. I want to know what happened, exactly what went down that made their whole thing go sour. But you're right. You hit the nail on the head. It's really, this may be a show that we don't really get the fruits of everything until season 2. This whole first season may just be setting it up, because it is so different. All these, like in the dude with the tattoo on his neck, the white dude that can't stand Tommy, like, he's a terrible actor, bro. He makes the same face and kind of whispers every line, and I guess it's supposed to be him saying it hard, and I just don't like his character, bro.
Yeah. I will talk about a lot of characters we don't like. I mean, again, I haven't fully understood the whole plot. All I'm getting right now is Tommy moved from New York to Chicago to start his own thing because there was too much heat back in the city. and we trying to see him get it together. And when we all thought he was on his way to LA, I honestly believe the second season will be in LA, and
Mhm.
I'm hoping that's true. Only because look, we've got New York, we've gotten Chicago at this point, and now we're about to get LA. Hopefully,
I don't know, bro. I think that I know that's been your theory for a while, but I don't know. It seems it's too much to say right now. It may still end up in LA, but I would not be surprised if we never make it to LA, bro.
yeah. I mean, obviously, if Tommy don't make it out of this season,
Yeah.
right, we know we're not getting nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, I'm still he 50 still got me though. You still got me because
Mhm.
I gotta finish it out. You know what I mean? Because I know one thing that we will do is eventually start to rank these seasons. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I gotta finish it out in order to rank them properly.
Do you think that when Two Bit comes to the show, is it going to be all love between him and Tommy, or is he going to be trying to kill Tommy for Tommy killing his partner, the dude with the glasses at the end of the original Power?
No, if 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 I think I know Too Big like I know him,
Mm-hmm.
he got to understand that that's business.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, but I think just like old girl, that Tommy is running around with is more of a it's more of a business understanding. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? We need each other. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure how Two Bit is going to fit into all of this, but we'll see. And let me just say, no, I'm not going to do that. I
No,
don't want to
go
be
ahead.
I don't want to be a creep on this episode.
No, go ahead. It's just me and you. Go ahead.
Yeah, and smear 60.
Oh yeah, and Spear
No,
60.
but let me tell you, man, when she definitely took off those baggy clothes, and I said, "All right,
She was holding more than I thought she was, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to
that
you, man.
that came out of nowhere."
I mean, Power is good for their random nude scene and sex scenes. But yeah, when she dropped them clothes, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, yeah. You know what? And I was thinking about this earlier too. I said, and it just randomly popped in my head. I was like, yo, they be having sex on Power for no goddamn reason. It's a
None. None. None.
Yeah, but speaking of sex though, I don't want to pass up his question. I do watch Euphoria. But
Yeah.
that's when I tell you that's a lot to unpack right there.
Euphoria would have to be like its own side recording because, especially as a parent of teenagers, bro, it's literally like there's so much to unpack in Euphoria, bro.
I didn't if you watch the first season and then start watching this season, you how can you top this? You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
sparked off a lot of questions. I know that was one of the biggest episodes was I think it was either during or after the Super Bowl or something like that.
After,
So
yeah, the after Super
yeah,
Bowl. Yeah.
yeah. It was it's so to answer your question, yes, I do watch Euphoria. It's a bit much to unpack. It's a lot. I'm not sure. I would say where the parents is at, but the parents are literally there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I don't, maybe
Eu-
one day.
Euphoria did nothing but solidify the fact why I don't let my kids stay the night over their friend's house for real, bro.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's it. Like, motherfuckers be tripping. But before we go, Baylor, is there anything that you watch, listen that we don't usually get a chance to talk to because when we have the whole team here that you want to mention, shout out, anything?
Well, I got a notification from I want to say I think Stars is either Stars or no HBO. Don't Breathe 2 is out.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't seen part 1, I would definitely go check that out, but I haven't watched part 2 yet, but I'm already recommending it because part 1 was dope. So go check that out. And Snowfall comes back
Tonight.
tonight. You know what I mean? And also, I want to give a shout out to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air new series. It's a lot of melanin going on in that show. and the way I love the drama feel to it. I love the drama feel to it.
I've never wanted like, and this is something that I had to come to a recollection on when I found myself starting to love this show. I wanted to hate the new Fresh Prince show because it's coming out after a classic. It's so different than the original. I think that's really just being self-aware. I wanted to hate the show, and all I can say is this is some of the best shit I've watched on TV in a minute, bro.
I will say this. I've always been optimistic. So I believe that there are some shows that you absolutely shouldn't touch, but because we get shows here and there, Sons of Anarchy, like we just said, Snowfall and Ozark and stuff like that. We get these shows here and there spread it around, but I truly believe that some of these shows can be redone if it's done the right way. And that's the problem. A lot of times you can't touch these classics because you don't know what to do with it. This was perfect because it was from the beginning. It was about him getting away from his hometown to a new life. And we always got the comedic side, but we had those episodes, when Carlton got shot, when Will's dad showed up and then left. You know what I mean? So we had those serious episodes, and that all till this day. That's one of the biggest memes of him just standing in the living room. You know what I mean? So when you bring 90% drama and 10% comedy, we're going to tune into that, because the opposite is the classic, which is 90% comedy, 10% drama. You know what I mean? But I don't think every show can do that. But this shows a different type of perfection, because not only we already knew the older classic showed black greatness. You know what I'm saying? You had a black judge. You know what I mean? You had a black family living in Bel-Air. This is the same thing, but it's in a modern times, or more modern time, I should say.
Yeah.
And it seems like they just got superpowers. You know what I mean? Like they're just more super black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I can appreciate it.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate the show, bro. Definitely appreciate the show. I was gonna ask about the whole lately Tory Lanez, Megan Thee Stallion shit, but you just ended us on a positive note. We're not gonna bring in any drama.
Oh, well, let's add that to next week.
We'll add that to next week. So next week we'll also be adding in Earth Gang's album to the review list. So just a FYI on that. Okay. I read a bunch because I'm iffy on Earth Gang. Like I like some of their music, but somebody compared this album that's supposed to come out to a UGK album. So I'm gonna just come in ready to tear it apart. So
hey, look, nowadays everything is just throw something out there to see who responds to it.
Yeah.
You know that's what I mean? True. So don't take that. Don't take that with a grain. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because you're gonna go in there looking to hate it.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. And it might end up sounding good, but sounding nothing like UGK.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, we'll see.
All right, man. But that's it for this episode. Bailey, go ahead and give me your social media, any parting dad jokes. You know how you get down.
Nah, nothing right now. I know I did have one. It was stolen though. But I do want to give a shout out to Marquise. I want to give a shout out to Mary. Y'all get back. You know what I'm saying? Because what y'all don't know is we're secret agents, and sometimes we gotta go on missions and shit like that. But follow me on @Bel-Airism on Twitter, @Bel-Airism on TikTok right now. You might as well go hop in those comments right now about the debate about grits, and that's it.
All right. You can follow me @CEO Hayes, the CEOHAIZE. You can follow the podcast @The Breaks Radio. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, thebreaksradio@gmail.com. And that's it. Soon, bro, we talked about all the shows that we got. We'll be having Atlanta soon too.
Yeah, that's a lot on our plate.
We got a lot of TV coming up. But that's it from us today. We love you, beautiful people. Peace.
Bro,
we got a lot of shit we're gonna be